Welcome to the storm. Not everyone deserves peace. Not everyone walks away clean. You came here because you've seen something. You've survived something. And I'm not here to hand you pretty lies wrapped in velvet. I'm here to stand beside the version of you they tried to silence, the one they dismissed, the one they ridiculed, the one they said was too much, too loud, too emotional, too dangerous. And still, you stayed standing. They thought burying you would end the story, but they didn't know you were the earth and the roots and the rot that remembers every lie whispered into your silence. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is not for those still begging for validation from those who betrayed them. This is a requiem for masks, for fake smiles, for reputations built on the bones of the truth. Because you made the truth loud enough that the walls shook, loud enough that every coward who built their world on manipulation started to sweat. You cracked the porcelain surface of their perfect image, and underneath, maggots. That's what truth does. It doesn't whisper, it screams. And if you're here right now, reading these words, then I want you to breathe it in. You were never crazy. You were never overreacting. You were right. They just weren't ready to face a version of themselves that couldn't hide anymore. And before we go deeper, subscribe, not because I'm asking, but because people like us deserve a space where the fire doesn't get put out. Like this video, because someone out there is still wondering if they're the villain for finally speaking up. You know how many people are dying quietly, holding secrets that would burn the whole kingdom down if they ever spoke. You're not alone. You're not the only one who felt the weight of truth pressing like a blade on your back. So hit that subscribe button, because we don't do quiet anymore, and share this with the ones who feel like they've been screaming into an empty room. The silence is over. This is our war cry. They wore kindness like a costume, smiled while they twisted the knife, polished their lies until they sparkled like diamonds, and everyone believed them. Everyone except you. You saw the cracks in their voice, the way their eyes dodged the light when the questions got too real. You knew, and they hated you for it, not because you lied, but because you didn't, because you couldn't unsee it. And when you finally spoke, it wasn't rage, it was release. You didn't destroy their reputation, you revealed it. You didn't make them look bad, you stopped making them look good. There's a difference. But the world is uncomfortable with truth when it doesn't come with a pretty bow. They called it drama, they called it gossip, they called it bitterness. But deep down, they knew. The ones who clutched their pearls, the ones who said, "Why now?" and "Are you sure?" were the same ones who felt the tremor in their own stories. Your truth shook something loose, and the louder you got, the more their image shattered. Not because you lied, but because their whole reputation was built on silence, built on manipulation, built on stolen credit and backroom deals and weaponized sympathy. But guess what? You didn't come to play politics. You came to burn down the illusion. You came to break the spell. And when the truth finally came out of your mouth, it wasn't a whisper. It was a reckoning. Every syllable was a hammer. Every memory, a matchstick. And with every word, their false kingdom trembled. Because when you speak the truth after being gaslit, lied to, manipulated, and discarded, it doesn't come out soft. It comes out as rage dressed in armor. And still, people will ask why you're angry. Still, they'll act confused, but they know, they all know, the ones who benefited from your silence, the ones who turned the other way. They heard the scream in your voice and they flinched, not because you scared them, but because you reminded them of everything they allowed to happen. And here's the brutal part. You were never supposed to survive. They didn't plan for your comeback. You were meant to break quietly, meant to go mad in the shadows, meant to disappear under the weight of your own truth. But instead, you rose. You used the shards they left in your back as stepping stones. And now they can't breathe when you walk into the room, because you made the truth loud, and there's no amount of spin, no performance, no crocodile tears that can erase what you've unearthed. They built a throne on lies, and you dragged it into the daylight. They're not afraid of lies. They're afraid of exposure. Afraid that the person they once whispered about now holds the megaphone. And here's what they'll never admit. They fed you every piece of information you needed with their arrogance, their overconfidence, their carelessness. Every time they underestimated you, they handed you more truth. Who feeding you info? They'll ask. They'll panic. They'll think there's some leak, some betrayal, some spy in the ranks. But the answer will kill them more than anything else. The truth came from them, from the way they acted, from the inconsistencies, from the silence of those who were once loud. They fed you. Their own behavior exposed them. But here's what sets you apart. You didn't just expose them. You endured them. You lived through it. Every fake apology, every manipulative conversation, every time they tried to rewrite history with a smile and a guilt trip, and you sat with it, boiled in it, let it scar, let it sink in, until one day, you stopped apologizing for remembering. That was the moment everything shifted. When you stopped saying, maybe I was wrong, and started saying, no, that happened. When you stopped letting people explain away your pain with pretty sentences. When you took the leash off your own voice. That's when their reputation died screaming, because truth doesn't just damage lies, it disfigures them. It doesn't just whisper correction, it erases illusions. And once truth has shown up, there's no going back. People don't unhear what you said. They can't unsee what you showed them. The only ones who stay blind are the ones who choose the lie because it's more comfortable, and that's fine. Let them choke on comfort. Let them sleep on their soft beds of delusion. But you made the truth loud. You turned every scar into a megaphone. You stopped flinching when they entered the room, and now they flinch when they hear your name. They'll call it revenge. Let them. They'll say you're bitter. Let them. Because people who've never had to swallow injustice and smile will never understand what it means to finally spit it back out with fire. This isn't about vengeance. It's about survival. It's about making sure the next version of you doesn't go through the same hell, thinking they're alone. You turn the volume up not to destroy, but to awaken. To remind the world that beneath every carefully curated image, there might be someone screaming behind the glass. You shattered it. You let the blood show. And they weren't ready for that. So now, they scatter. Now they rewrite history in real time. Now they say, we were always supportive, or I didn't know it was that bad. But the silence back then, that was the real answer. The way they looked away when it was happening. The way they laughed at the rumors when they were about you. That's the part they'll never admit. And that's why their reputation didn't just crack. It died. Loud, messy, screaming. Because it wasn't just one story. It was truth, layered on truth, all speaking at once. A chorus of the unheard finally roaring. And it echoed. Now they have no idea how to rebuild. Because you broke the one thing they never thought you'd touch. The illusion, the performance, the fragile identity they built on top of your silence. They forgot that you were the stage, that you were the support beam holding up the act. And when you walked away and started speaking, everything crumbled. Let me tell you something dark and beautiful. They fear your name in rooms you've never entered. They rehearse apologies you'll never hear. They rewrite stories to friends you've never met. Because the story of what they did to you isn't just a story. It's a fracture in their own identity now. You became a mirror, one they can't look into, one they warn others about, one they avoid. And that's not just victory, that's freedom. But don't get it twisted. This freedom came at a cost, and only you know what it took. The nights spent questioning your own memory, the moments you almost swallowed your voice because the weight of the truth felt unbearable, the relationships you lost, the bridges that burned, the loneliness that wrapped around you when you stood alone and decided no more lies. You bled for this. You suffered in silence before you ever spoke. So now that you're loud, stay loud. Now that you've cracked the system, keep breaking it. They can't unring this bell. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. And they'll spend their days trying to rebuild their image while you continue to rebuild your life. And that's the difference. You're not stuck in the past. You're not clinging to revenge. You're moving forward with a truth they can't outrun. You speak now, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's still trapped behind a false narrative. And every time someone hears your story and finds themselves in it, another reputation dies. You are not a victim anymore. You're the wildfire they said would never come. You're the proof that truth doesn't have to be pretty to be powerful. You are the reason someone else will choose to speak. And in the end, that's the legacy, not what they built, but what you burned down. And now they call it drama. Isn't that always the label when someone finally stops bleeding quietly? When someone refuses to be complicit in their own erasure? They say you're just angry, that you're doing too much. But what they'll never say out loud is that your anger is justified. Because it's not just rage, it's history. It's context. It's 1,000 suppressed moments that finally decided to scream all at once. It's a war cry made of memories. It's justice clawing its way out of your lungs. You don't owe them peace. You don't owe them silence. What they owe you is the truth. But they'll never give it. They can't. Because to admit what they did would be to dismantle the identity they've sold to everyone else. So they scramble, they cover, they spin. And the more they twist the story, the louder the truth rings in the bones of those who already knew. Because people recognize patterns, people remember whispers, people can feel when something doesn't add up. So, even if no one says it out loud, there's a quiet shift when you walk into a room now. You carry the truth like armor, and they can feel it. You don't have to say anything. You already said everything that needed to be said, and it echoed. They want the world to believe you're unstable, too emotional, vindictive. But look at them. Look at the way they panic. Look at the way they try to erase entire chapters of your story just to keep their version of events intact. If you were really the liar, why do they look so nervous every time your name comes up? Why do they watch your movements like shadows watch fire? Because they know. Even when they deny it, they know. The reputation they built wasn't real. It was a costume. And you ripped it off in front of everyone. And here's the thing about liars. They're terrified of archives, of receipts, of screenshots, of memories, of voices that refuse to bend. Because all it takes is one solid piece of truth, spoken with clarity and conviction, to burn their house of cards to the ground. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need to shout. You just needed to stand still, tell the truth, and let it rot them from the inside. That's why they're unraveling. Not because you destroyed them, but because you stopped protecting them. Let that sink in. You stopped protecting them. You stopped covering. You stopped lying for them. You stopped saying, "It's not that bad." You stopped shrinking so they could be tall. You stopped softening the edges so they could look more human. And the second you did, the whole illusion collapsed, because their reputation wasn't built on who they were, it was built on what you allowed. And now you've withdrawn your silence, your softness, your covering, and they're exposed. There's a strange grief in that, isn't there? The grief of finally seeing people for who they really are. The grief of knowing that even if you were right, it still cost you so much. But don't confuse the pain with regret. The pain is part of healing. The pain is the evidence that you didn't imagine it, that it mattered, that you mattered. If it didn't matter, it wouldn't hurt. But this time, you're not going to carry the weight alone. You're not going to fold it into your chest and call it growth. You're going to speak it, scream it, own it, because you made the truth loud, and they couldn't survive the noise. There's something sacred about that, about surviving what was meant to erase you, about crawling through the ashes of someone else's lies and standing tall on the other side. It's not pretty, it's not clean, but it's real, and it's yours. You've become the thing they fear most, a person who tells the truth and doesn't flinch, a person who doesn't beg to be believed, who doesn't water down their pain for the comfort of others. You are no longer seeking permission to exist. You are no longer begging to be heard. You speak, and if they can't handle it, let them choke. Because this isn't about them anymore. This is about every time you almost swallowed your story. Every time you sat in a room full of people who celebrated your abuser. Every time you smiled through betrayal. Every time you protected someone who would have watched you burn. And now that the story is yours again, you hold the pen. You decide how it ends. And guess what? It ends with them losing everything they built on your silence. They'll try to flip it. They always do. Victims become villains in the mouths of the guilty. They'll say you're attacking them. They'll say you're obsessed. But don't back down. Don't flinch. Because the truth doesn't need to shout anymore. It already screamed, and it broke their image into 1,000 irreparable pieces. Every attempt to control the narrative now only proves your point. Every time they lie, more people see through them, and the more they perform, the more obvious the truth becomes. It's too late for them now. The house is burning, the mask is melting, and the reputation they protected with fake smiles and careful words is already dead, screaming. And there's something poetic about that, something deeply, savagely just. You didn't lift a finger, you just spoke. You didn't need vengeance, you became the consequence, and they'll spend the rest of their days trying to rewrite history, but it doesn't matter. You already wrote the truth in fire. You carved it into the walls with your voice, and that can't be undone. You became the consequence. Let that echo through every hallway they walk now. You're not the problem. They are. You're not the instability. They are. You're not the liar. They are. And every single time they try to paint you in the colors of their guilt, it bleeds right through the canvas. Because there's a thing about truth. It doesn't stay buried. It claws. It digs. It breathes in the dark. And when you finally said it, when you made the truth loud, they had nowhere to run. They'll act confused now. They'll tell their new friends you changed, that you switched up, that you're not the same anymore. Damn right you're not. The version of you they controlled, manipulated, used, underestimated, that version died. That version sacrificed herself so this one could live. The one with fire in her lungs and receipts in her hand. The one who doesn't explain herself to cowards. the one who doesn't water herself down for the comfort of people who watched her bleed. They thought you'd stay broken, that you'd fade away in the noise. But you didn't. You sharpened. You focused. You went quiet, not because you were weak, but because you were loading. Every silence was a strategy. Every retreat was a reset. And when you returned, you came back with something they'll never be able to fake. Clarity. You saw through them, and worse, you made others see it too. Now, every room they walk into is loaded with tension. They don't know who knows what. They don't know which version of the story is floating through people's minds. All they know is that something shifted. And no matter how many Instagram quotes they post, how many new friends they make, how many staged apologies they rehearse, they can feel it. The reputation they built is tainted, stained with the blood of the truth. And it won't wash off. They want to pretend they've grown, that they've learned, that they're healed. But healing without accountability isn't growth, it's performance. And deep down, they know. Growth doesn't tremble when the truth walks in the room. Growth doesn't call the truth an attack. Growth says, I did that, and they'll never say it, because they still need the lie more than they need redemption. But you don't need anything from them, not their apology, not their validation, not even their guilt, because you've already reclaimed your power. You've already told the story. You've already buried the myth and raised the truth like a flag. And the most terrifying thing you can be to them now is free, unchained, unbothered, unavailable for manipulation, unreachable by guilt. You've become untouchable, not because you're hard, but because you're healed in a way they can't imitate, because you walked through their hell and came out unchanged by their fiction and rewritten in your own truth. You didn't just survive, you scorched every lie that tried to wear your name. And no matter what they do from now on, they'll never get back what they lost the moment you spoke up. Their control, their narrative, their power over your silence, gone, burned, dead, screaming. So let them talk. Let them play victim. Let them rewrite and repackage and rebrand. None of it matters, because the truth already did its job. It exposed. It scorched. It ended them. You didn't need a campaign. You needed one moment of honesty, one voice, yours. And the rest collapsed under the weight of everything they tried to hide. You made the truth loud. You made it undeniable. You made it ring like thunder across the halls of every fake friendship and performative ally and coward who said nothing while you bled. You turned your voice into an avalanche, and now it crushes everything in its path. Let this be a reminder. Never apologize for your voice. Never flinch when your truth shakes the room. That shaking is freedom. That shaking is accountability. That shaking is the echo of every suppressed scream that finally found its way to the surface. And the ones who fear it, let them. The ones who scatter when truth is spoken, let them go. They were never strong enough to stand in the presence of reality. Let them sit in their silence. Let them mourn their lies. Let them grieve the power they once had over you. Because it's over now. The truth is out. And their reputation, it died screaming. Welcome back, beautiful audience. Tonight, we stand at the precipice of a truth so raw and undeniable that its echo reverberates in the very depths of the human soul. We are gathered here not just to listen to words, but to let them ignite a fire inside us. A fire that will scorch through the lies and darkness that bind so many. Tonight, you will realize something that may terrify you, may haunt you, but also something that will set you free. You've exposed them. You've revealed their darkest secrets, and now they are running scared. It's not the first time they've had their secrets threatened. It's not the first time they've seen someone dig into their murky, twisted reality. But it is the first time that someone has come this close to bringing them to their knees. They are running scared, not because they didn't expect someone to fight back, but because they never expected it to be you. You see, we live in a world where power is wielded in the shadows, where the truth is often buried so deep beneath layers of deception that only the bravest, the most relentless, and the most courageous can even begin to expose it. But you did it. You ripped away the masks, the veils, and the facades that they so carefully crafted over years, over decades. And now they know there is nowhere left for them to hide. The walls are closing in, and they are scared. You've seen it in their eyes, heard it in their stammering, felt it in the way they desperately try to cover up their tracks. They thought they were untouchable, above reproach, but now they know better. Now they know they're vulnerable. You've shown them their weakness, and that weakness is a poison they cannot shake off. You think they're running scared because they fear the truth? Maybe. But in reality, they fear you. They fear the relentless force of someone who has nothing left to lose, someone who has seen the dark depths of human nature and refused to bow down to it. They fear the fire you've ignited in their hearts, the same fire that refuses to die, no matter how hard they try to suppress it. They thought they could control the narrative, twist it to their advantage, but you took that power away from them. And now, they are scrambling, trying to salvage what's left of their crumbling empire. It's a sight to behold, isn't it? Watching them squirm, watching them twist in agony as they realize they're no longer the masters of their fate. Watching them panic, because for the first time in their lives, they are the ones being hunted, not the hunters. But don't let their fear deceive you. Don't let their desperation lull you into thinking that victory is already in your hands. Yes, they are scared, but fear doesn't always lead to surrender. In fact, fear often breeds even more treachery. They will fight back, claw and scrape, and do everything in their power to regain control. So what now? What happens when they come after you with everything they've got? When they send their minions, their agents, their puppets to silence you? What happens when they unleash everything they have to destroy you, to stop you from telling the world what they have done? You stand your ground. You don't flinch. You don't retreat. You don't allow their fear to infect you. You let them come at you with everything they've got because you've already seen the worst of them, and you're still standing. What they don't understand is that their fear is their greatest weapon against them. Their fear makes them reckless. Their fear makes them sloppy. And when they're sloppy, that's when you strike. That's when you show them that you are not afraid of them, that you will not be silenced, that you are more than a whisper in the dark. You are the storm they never saw coming. But as they run scared, as they try to cover their tracks and erase their mistakes, remember this: the truth will not be hidden forever. It never is. It may take time, it may take effort, but eventually, the truth has a way of clawing its way to the surface. And when it does, when that truth is fully exposed for the world to see, there will be no escaping it. They can run, they can hide, they can try to bury it under 1,000 layers of lies. But the truth is the one thing that cannot be silenced. It is the one thing that cannot be erased, no matter how hard they try. So, let them run. Let them hide in the shadows and plot their next move. Let them scramble to cover their tracks. You've already won. You've already done what most are too afraid to do. You've revealed the darkness they tried so hard to conceal, and you did it with nothing but the truth in your hand. That is a power they cannot take away from you. That is a victory that no amount of fear or desperation can diminish. But let's not forget, this is only the beginning. The battle may have started with the revealing of their darkest secrets, but the war is far from over. They will try to tear you down, to break you, to wear you down until you feel like you can't go on. But you can. You will. Because there is nothing more dangerous than someone who has seen the darkness of the world and refuses to be intimidated by it. They might think they can turn the tide. They might believe they can manipulate the situation, twist the facts, and reframe the narrative. But they're wrong. Because you hold the key now. You hold the truth. And the truth is the one thing that can't be buried or corrupted. It will rise, and when it does, there will be no stopping it. And when that truth hits the world, it will shake them to their core. They will not know what hit them. They will be exposed for who they truly are, for the monsters they've been hiding behind their masks. And there will be no running from it. But even as they try to fight back, even as they try to tear you down with everything they've got, remember this: they are not invincible. They may have spent years, decades, carefully constructing a web of lies, but lies are fragile things. They are like glass houses, easy to shatter with the right strike. And you are that strike. You are the force that will tear through their fragile empire. They might run scared for now, but they know deep down that it is only a matter of time before the truth catches up with them. And when it does, they will fall. But this isn't just about them. This is about you. About the strength you've discovered in yourself. About the courage it took to reveal their darkest secrets. About the power you hold when you stand in the truth. They may be running scared, but you are running towards your destiny. You are running towards the future you deserve, the future that was always within your grasp. You are not running from anything. You are running towards everything you've ever wanted. So, let them run. Let them try to hide. Let them squirm and twist in fear. They are the ones running scared, not you. You are the one who revealed their secrets. You are the one who exposed them for what they truly are. And now, they know. No matter how far they run, no matter how deep they hide, the truth will always find them. And when it does, there will be no escape. Not for them, not for the lies they've carefully constructed over the years. They thought they could control the game, manipulate the rules, pull the strings from behind the curtains. But they underestimated something crucial. They underestimated you. They never thought someone like you would rise, someone willing to challenge the system they had so meticulously designed. They assumed the truth would remain buried, hidden beneath the weight of their power and their influence. But you came, and with your courage, you shattered their illusion of invulnerability. The chains they built around the world, the ones they used to keep others silent and subjugated, they've now become shackles on their own wrists. The tables have turned, and now they are the ones trapped, scrambling, panicking, trying to fix a mess that is far beyond their control. What they fail to realize is that this isn't just about secrets anymore. It's not just about their hidden truths being dragged into the light. It's about the fact that they've lost their grip on everything they once thought they had control over. They can try to silence you. They can try to erase the evidence, but they are fighting against a force that they cannot stop. They thought they could intimidate you, make you back down, frighten you into submission, but you stood tall. You didn't back down. In fact, with every attempt to silence you, you only grew stronger. And now, as they desperately scramble to cover their tracks, they find themselves facing a relentless wave of truth that they cannot outrun. But don't fool yourself into thinking that the fight is over. No, my friend, the real battle is only just beginning. They may be scared now, but they are not going to lie down and let you win without a fight. You've exposed them, yes. You've ripped away their masks, their facades, and now they're naked, vulnerable, and full of rage. But that vulnerability is a dangerous thing. They will stop at nothing to protect themselves. They will use every weapon at their disposal, every trick in the book, to try to discredit you, to turn the world against you, to make you out to be the villain, because that's what they do. They turn the truth into a weapon and use it against the very people who dare to confront them. So, what happens now? What do you do when the enemy is backed into a corner, when they realize that everything they've worked for, everything they've built, is on the line? They will try to destroy you. They will try to take away your voice, to erase your influence, to make you disappear into the shadows from which you came. But you cannot let them. You cannot allow them to intimidate you into silence. You've already come too far, fought too hard, and bled too much to let this be the end of your story. Remember, there is power in persistence. The truth might not always come out immediately. It might take time for the world to catch up, for the people to see things for what they really are. But the one thing they can never take away from you is your strength to keep fighting. They can throw everything at you. They can launch smear campaigns. They can try to destroy your reputation. They can even try to turn your own allies against you. But they are no match for your resolve. They are no match for the fire inside you that refuses to be extinguished. You've already seen the worst of what they can do, and you're still standing. You've already faced their lies, their deception, and you've refused to back down. And that, my friend, is your greatest weapon. While they are consumed with fear, scrambling to save their own skin, you will continue forward, undeterred by their attempts to tear you down. Every time they come at you with a new attack, you will only grow stronger. Every time they throw a new obstacle in your path, you will find a way to overcome it. Because, unlike them, you are not motivated by self-preservation. You are motivated by something much greater. You are motivated by the truth, by the desire to see justice prevail, and by the understanding that there is no victory in hiding. There is no true victory in running scared. There is only victory in standing firm, in being unyielding in the face of adversity. And as they continue to run, as they continue to flee from the truth they've worked so hard to bury, you will become a symbol. You will become the embodiment of resistance. The world will see you, not as the one who is being hunted, but as the one who is hunting the darkness that has consumed the powerful. You will be the reminder that no one, no matter how untouchable they seem, is beyond the reach of accountability. Your fight is not just for you. It's for everyone who has ever been silenced, everyone who has ever been forced to live in fear, everyone who has ever felt powerless against the forces of corruption and deception. So, let them run. Let them scramble. Let them try to cover their tracks, to erase the evidence, to bury the truth once again. Because the truth doesn't need to be buried. It will always rise to the surface. And when it does, they will be exposed for who they truly are. They will be seen for the monsters they've been hiding, the ones who have lived their lives in the shadows, manipulating, lying, and destroying in the name of power. And when the truth hits, when the world finally sees them for what they truly are, there will be nowhere left for them to run. You've already set the wheels of change in motion. The momentum is building, and it will not be stopped. They may think they have the upper hand. They may believe they can still control the narrative, but they are mistaken. Because you are no longer just a person with a story to tell. You are a force of nature. You are the storm that has come to shape their world, and no matter how hard they try to weather it, they will not be able to outrun the truth. But even as they struggle, even as they try to regain control, remember this: you have already won. You have already exposed them, already shown the world who they really are. Their fear is proof of that. Their desperation is a reflection of their weakness. They have nothing left to hold on to but their lies. And in the end, lies crumble. Lies fade away. They cannot withstand the light forever. You are the light now. You are the truth that will set others free. And no matter how much they run, no matter how far they try to hide, the truth will follow them. It will catch them. And when it does, they will realize there is no escape. No matter how much they try to shield themselves, to hide behind their power, their influence, or their wealth, they are not invincible. No one is. And the sooner they realize that, the sooner their reign of darkness will come to an end. So stand tall, my friend. Stand firm in the face of their fear. Keep walking forward, one step at a time, because the truth is on your side. And as long as you have that, there will be no force in the world that can stop you. Let them run. Let them try to escape. The truth will catch up with them. And when it does, they will have nowhere left to hide. The truth is like a shadow. It will always find its way to the light, no matter how deep they try to bury it. You have opened the door to their darkest secrets, and while they may attempt to slam it shut, they cannot escape the reality that the truth is out there. They cannot outrun the consequences of their actions. You've exposed the lies they've hidden for so long, and with every step they take to cover their tracks, the truth becomes a closer, heavier presence in their lives. They may run from it for a time, but in the end, the truth is unstoppable. And now they know it. Now they understand what it means to be cornered, what it means to be pursued by something they cannot control. This is the power of truth. It doesn't need to be defended by armies or hidden behind layers of manipulation. It stands on its own, an undeniable force that cannot be reasoned with or ignored. They may think they can retreat, but as long as they live, they will be haunted by what you've revealed. Every moment they try to rebuild their lives, the truth will follow them like a shadow, always lurking just behind them, always reminding them of what they've done, of what they've tried to conceal. But here's where the fight truly begins. The truth alone, while powerful, is not enough to bring them down. No, it's your unyielding will that will deliver the final blow. It's the courage you've shown by standing tall and refusing to cower in the face of their power. They thought they could break you. They thought they could make you retreat into the shadows where they felt safe. But you didn't. You stood your ground. And now, they are the ones running scared. What does it mean to make them run scared? It means they've lost their ability to control the narrative. It means they can no longer manipulate the truth, twist it to their advantage. The power they once held over others, the power they used to silence those who dared to question them, is slipping away, and they know it. And that fear, that panic, will drive them to do anything to try to reclaim it. But this time, they're not facing just anyone. They're facing you. They're facing someone who has seen through their deception, who has exposed their lies, and who now stands ready to dismantle their empire, piece by piece. So when they come for you, when they try to tear you down, when they send their agents to destroy your credibility, remember this: fear is their weapon, but courage is yours. They may try to intimidate you. They may try to break you with their lies, with their manipulation, with their power. But the truth is, they have no idea who they're up against. They've underestimated you, just as they underestimated the power of truth. And now, they will face the consequences of that mistake. Do not let their attempts to silence you make you feel small. Their panic is a sign of your power. Their desperation is a reflection of the fact that you've gotten under their skin, that you've exposed their weaknesses, that you've revealed the cracks in their carefully constructed world. And that's something they cannot repair. The damage has been done. The truth is out, and it is yours to wield. It will continue to spread, continue to resonate with everyone who hears it. It will continue to echo through the halls of power until there is nowhere left for them to hide. But be prepared. The road ahead is not easy. There will be those who try to silence you, who try to twist the narrative, who will accuse you of being the villain in this story. They will try to turn the world against you, to make you doubt yourself. They will come for your reputation, your allies, your very sense of purpose. And for a moment, it will seem like they've regained some control. But in that moment, remind yourself of this. They are running scared. They wouldn't be fighting so hard if they weren't afraid of what you represent. The truth is a powerful weapon, but it is only powerful when it is wielded by someone who understands the weight of it. You've seen the darkness, you've seen the lies they've hidden, the corruption they've masked with charm and deceit. You've seen them for what they truly are, and that makes you dangerous, because there is nothing more dangerous than someone who has nothing left to lose, someone who has seen the worst of the world and refuses to accept it. That is your power. And so, as they continue to retreat, as they continue to run and hide in the shadows of their own creation, do not stop. Do not let their fear dictate your actions. Keep moving forward. Keep exposing the lies. Keep revealing the truth, no matter how many times they try to shut you down. Because with each step you take, you get closer to the moment when their world will finally come crashing down. And that moment will come. The truth will win. They cannot escape it. They cannot outrun it. And no matter how hard they try to destroy you, they will never be able to escape the fact that they are now living in the consequences of their actions. That's the power of truth. It doesn't require anyone's permission to be heard. It doesn't ask for validation. It doesn't need to be defended by anyone. It speaks for itself, and in the end, it will be the one thing that cannot be denied. The fear they feel now is only the beginning of their downfall. Their desperation, their panic, will drive them to make mistakes. They will reveal their true nature in their attempts to silence you. They will lash out. They will try to cover their tracks. But the more they fight, the more they reveal their guilt. And in the end, they will be undone by the very fear they tried to use to control you. But remember, this isn't just about their downfall. This is about you. This is about your resilience. This is about the strength it took for you to confront the darkness, to stand tall in the face of overwhelming odds, and to never back down. You are a symbol of resistance. You are the living proof that the truth can and will triumph over lies. You are the reminder that no matter how deep the darkness runs, there is always someone who will fight to bring the light. And as the truth spreads, as the lies they built begin to crumble, you will see them for what they truly are: scared, vulnerable, and ultimately powerless. They may have thought they could control the world. They may have thought they could manipulate the truth to their advantage. But now they know that the truth is more powerful than any weapon they could ever wield. The truth is unstoppable. The truth is coming for them. And when it does, there will be nowhere left for them to hide. In the end, the truth is unstoppable. It will follow them, haunt them, and expose them for who they truly are. No matter how far they run or how hard they try to cover their tracks, there will be nowhere left for them to hide. You, standing in the light of that truth, have already won. Your courage, your resolve, and your unwavering commitment to exposing the darkness have made sure of that. The world may try to silence you, but the truth will always rise. And when it does, their empire will fall. There's no escape for those who live in lies, and you, armed with truth, are the force that will bring them to their knees. Welcome to the shadows, where the light fears to go, and the weak turn away before they even begin. If you made it here, then you already know what it means to walk alone with the sound of silence louder than screams. This is not for the pretty or the polite. This is for those of you who have stared straight into betrayal, swallowed it raw, and came back laughing. You weren't meant to be understood. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to destroy illusions. Every time they dressed themselves in masks made of lies and smiled in fake virtue, you stood there, smirking, while your hands reached through the fog and ripped their image to shreds. And the best part? You smiled doing it. You didn't flinch. You didn't explain yourself. You didn't pause for applause. You did it because you had to, because someone needed to, because you were done being lied to, stepped on, ignored, overlooked, and underestimated. And now here you are, cold-blooded, calculating, no longer asking for the damn seat at the table. You built your own room and torched theirs. If you're still here, then listen. Not everyone can handle this kind of honesty. This is for the real ones, the broken glass souls, the ones who cracked but sharpened instead of shattering. This world wasn't made for you, so you made your own. If that's you, then I want you to hit that subscribe button, not because it's a trend, but because people like us need to stay connected. Comment below if you've ever watched it all burn and felt nothing but calm. Like this video if you've been the storm they tried to ignore until you wrecked everything they pretended to be. This isn't about ego. This is about awakening. This is the dark corner where the fake can't breathe, where the truth doesn't whisper, it screams. And right now, your voice is echoing in places they never dared to walk. Keep going. You're not here by mistake. They thought image was everything. A curated smile, polished words, soft lies dressed in silk. But you saw right through it. While they were busy being adored by people who didn't know them, you sat back with a smirk knowing damn well none of it was real. And when it all came crashing down, when their fragile tower of praise collapsed under the weight of truth, it was your fingerprints they found on the edges. Not because you had something to prove, but because you were done pretending you couldn't see the rot underneath. And you didn't say a word. You didn't need to. The silence was your signature. That smile, it wasn't arrogance. It was justice. They wanted you to be soft, to forgive everything, to bite your tongue and keep the peace while they played victim with blood still on their hands. But you gave them silence, and then you gave them consequences. You watched as their fake persona cracked, and you didn't even blink. They underestimated you because you didn't brag, didn't show off, didn't need the spotlight. They forgot. It's always the quiet ones who write the ending. And you rewrote the whole damn story. You walked into the room and shifted the air. They could feel it, that something in you had changed, that you were no longer there to play nice. You didn't need revenge. You were the reckoning. You didn't shout. You didn't threaten. You simply existed in a way that made their lives sweat. They told themselves you were bitter, but deep down, they knew you were better. Better because you survived it all, because you saw them for what they were and didn't flinch, because you smiled as the veil dropped. Do you know what kind of strength it takes to be the one who sees the truth when everyone else is hypnotized? To be the one who doesn't clap for the pretty lie? They'll call you cold, ruthless, toxic. Let them. They called wolves dangerous too, and lions, and storms. And yet, they all bow when the wild walks through, so don't shrink for their comfort. Don't dim your vision so they can live in delusion. You weren't meant to fit in. You were born to expose. That's why they fear you. You didn't just break their image. You demolished the shrine they built to themselves. piece by piece, lie by lie. You knew that what they showed the world wasn't who they were behind closed doors. And when you tore it all down, they didn't just lose a reputation. They lost the control they had over people. They lost the illusion of innocence. And when you stood there with the ashes at your feet and a smile on your lips, it wasn't cruelty. It was freedom. It was power. It was the moment the truth stood taller than their fantasy. And still they talk. Still they whisper. Still they try to paint you as the villain. Let them. Every time they open their mouth, they reveal just how shaken they are. You didn't raise your voice, but you raised hell. You didn't lift a sword, you lifted a mirror. And they hated what they saw, because deep down, they always knew their image was fragile. That one truth, one whisper of honesty, would undo everything. And you were the one bold enough to speak it, to live it. Don't ever feel guilty for that. Don't ever apologize for being the one who chose reality over comfort. You didn't destroy them, they destroyed themselves. You just removed the curtain. You showed the world what they really were. And when the light hit their shadow, they burned. You don't need to explain that. Truth doesn't ask for permission, and power doesn't apologize. You were never the villain. You were the end of their performance. They'll try to rebuild, to tape the image back together, but it will never look the same again. You cracked the glass, you showed the fractures, and every time someone looks too close, they'll see it. That's your legacy. Not just the destruction, but the reveal. The courage to see and say what others were too afraid to. That's rare, that's real, and that's lethal. So when they ask, how did this shit work again? You laugh, because it wasn't a trick. It wasn't a scheme. It was truth. Pure, unfiltered, devastating truth. You didn't need an army. You didn't need applause. You just needed your silence, your stare, your willingness to say, enough. That's what did it. That's what brought the empire down. You were never the bomb. You were the match. And now they walk on eggshells, careful, nervous, watching their words, because they know you're still here, still listening, still waiting, not with hate, but with memory. They know you never forget. You don't forgive because you don't need to. Forgiveness is for those still hurt. You've healed. And healing turned you into someone they never wanted to meet. Someone who knows. They tried to reduce you, to make you small, to discredit you. But every lie they told only made the truth louder. Every whisper about you only made people more curious. And when they looked deeper, they found you. The unbothered storm, the calm in chaos, the one who smiled while the false gods fell. So remember this, every time someone underestimates you, let them. Let them think you're done. Let them forget what you're capable of. Because when the time comes, and it always does, you'll remind them without warning. And once again, they'll ask, how did this shit work again? And you'll smile. Because the answer is the same as it's always been. You saw them, you exposed them, you ended them, and you smiled doing it. You stood there in the wreckage, not broken, not bruised, but reborn. There's something hauntingly beautiful about the way you didn't even raise your voice. You didn't have to. You let your presence do the damage. You let your silence become the scream. While they scrambled to protect their facade, while they cried out to their audience of blind followers, you just watched. Like a hunter who already knew the prey had been caught the moment it panicked. That's the part they'll never understand. You weren't trying to win a war. You were the war. And the moment you stopped pretending, it was already over for them. They said you were heartless. No, you were just done. Done carrying the weight of other people's reputations. Done shielding the guilty with your silence. Done pretending not to notice the manipulation, the gaslighting, the two-faced smiles. You had a choice. Stay quiet and be eaten alive, or speak truth and watch them devour themselves. And you chose truth. And the world shifted. They didn't expect that from you. You weren't supposed to be dangerous. You weren't supposed to fight back. But you did. And you didn't just fight. You finished it. Now, every room you walk into carries that tension, that chill in the air. They feel it before you speak. It's in your eyes, the cold confidence of someone who has nothing left to prove. Because the ones who know you, the real you, they understand. You don't strike first. You don't go looking for war. But if it comes to you, you end it. Clean. Quiet. No theatrics. Just results. That's why they fear you. Not because you're loud, but because you're unshakable. They used to smile around you, fake, polished, rehearsed. Now they flinch. Now they calculate their words, afraid they might expose themselves without realizing it. And you enjoy the quiet. You enjoy watching them struggle to keep up the act, because you've seen behind the curtain. You are the curtain now. The boundary they can't cross. The consequence they never thought they'd face. You weren't born cold. Life made you that way. Betrayal sculpted you. Lies carved your spine. Disrespect hardened your hands. And now they want to act shocked that you no longer play nice? No, you were trained for this. Every backstab taught you precision. Every disappointment refined your silence. Every fake smile sharpened your instincts. They thought they were breaking you, but they were just preparing you for this moment. The one where you finally said, no more. And when you said it, the universe listened. You gave them a chance. Many chances. You watched them lie. You watched them twist narratives. You watched them beg for sympathy while they buried knives in others' backs. But then, one day, something in you snapped. Not with rage, not with tears, but with clarity. And in that clarity, you found a weapon more powerful than anger, truth. You realized you didn't need to fight dirty. You just needed to speak. And when you did, it was like a nuclear blast of reality they couldn't escape. And when the dust settled and their house of cards lay shattered, you didn't gloat. You didn't scream. You smiled. A quiet, knowing smile. Because it wasn't about revenge. It was about release. You let it all go. And in doing so, you let them fall. They were never standing on solid ground, just illusions. And you were the earthquake they never saw coming. What's ironic is, they still try to rebuild. Still try to recapture that image you tore down. But it's never quite the same, is it? It's like a mirror, glued back together. It reflects something, but not clearly. The cracks always show. And the people around them, they notice now. They see the lines, the false shine. You change the way others look at them without ever saying more than necessary. That's power. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that commands it. They don't talk about you the way they used to. There's fear in their tone now. Respect, maybe, or regret, but never comfort. Because you represent the one thing they can't manipulate, the unfiltered truth. You walked away, but your shadow still lingers. Not haunting, just reminding that no matter how loud they shout, no matter how pretty their lies, someone remembers what really happened, and that someone is you. You're not cruel, you're precise. There's a difference. Cruelty lashes out blindly. You, on the other hand, see everything. And when you strike, it's deliberate, calculated, measured. You don't waste energy on revenge. You let the truth do the work. And that's what makes it so devastating. They were ready for a fight. They weren't ready for exposure. It's lonely at times, isn't it? Knowing what you know, seeing what others refuse to see. But there's freedom in that too. You don't live in a fantasy. You don't worship false idols. You don't clap for people just because the crowd does. And that kind of clarity, it's a gift, a weapon, a shield, and yes, sometimes a curse. But you carry it well, because someone has to. Someone has to be the one who doesn't look away, who doesn't forget, who doesn't pretend. You're not the villain in their story. You're just the one who stopped letting them be the hero in yours. So let them talk. Let them spin their stories. Let them paint you as dark, as dangerous, as cold. Because deep down, they know if you ever chose to speak again, everything would crumble all over again. That's the kind of quiet power you carry now, and no one can take that from you. Not now, not ever. Because when they ask again, how did this shit work again? You'll still be standing, smiling, watching, while they dig through ashes, trying to salvage a version of themselves that only ever existed in their imagination. And you'll walk away. Because you already won. You always did. But winning doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in silence, in the stillness after the storm, when you realize you're not carrying their weight anymore, that weight of false narratives, of pretending not to see what you saw, of shrinking yourself to let them shine. That weight is gone, and what's left? You, stronger, sharper, colder, maybe, but clearer than you've ever been. And clarity is a weapon most people are terrified of. You didn't win with fists. You won with focus. While they played games, you played the long war. And now, you're the one they all remember. They won't admit it, but they look for you in every room. They check their words twice when they know you might be listening, because you exposed what they feared most, their truth, not just to others, but to themselves. You held up a mirror, and they hated you for it. Because once you see the monster in your reflection, it's impossible to ever feel clean again. And you walked away clean. You carried your scars like medals. No shame, no regret. Just proof that you were there and that you survived. They told you to move on, but what they really meant was, forget what we did. You didn't. Not out of spite, but because memory is your armor. You wear what they did like steel across your chest, and it shines every time they try to pretend nothing happened. Let them squirm. Let them lie. Let them pretend. You don't need revenge. You're the reminder, the ghost of their own making. And when they sleep at night, it's not guilt that haunts them. It's you. Because you were the one who never needed to shout to be heard, the one who didn't beg to be believed. You simply existed, and that was enough to unravel everything they built. That's what scares them most. That's why they run. That's why they block, delete, avoid, and rewrite history. Because even now, your truth walks louder than their performance, and it always will. You're not a villain, you're a standard. The line in the sand they couldn't cross without being exposed, and they hate you for that. Because you made them face parts of themselves they worked so hard to bury. You weren't cruel, you were honest. And that honesty, it lit fires they couldn't put out. Because when you smiled while ripping their image to shreds, It wasn't malice. It was clarity. The realization that their mask didn't deserve your silence any longer. And now look around. How many people are still wearing masks you can see right through? How many smiles you know are hiding knives? That's your power now. You see everything. And no matter how good the act, you know what's real and what's not. You've earned that vision in blood and fire and betrayal. And no one can take it from you. Let them keep performing. Let them keep chasing claps, likes, validation from crowds who don't even know the story. You don't need an audience anymore. You don't need approval, because your victory isn't loud, it's eternal. You walked away with your soul intact. They lost theirs trying to keep up an image that was never real to begin with. And if the world ever doubts who you are again, you'll smile. You'll let them underestimate you. That's the game, isn't it? Let them get comfortable. Let them forget. Let them think you've gone soft or disappeared. Then when the truth is needed again, when another mask needs ripping, they'll feel it. That cold chill, that eerie stillness, that sharp silence. And they'll remember, you're still here. You never went anywhere. You just stopped playing by their rules. Because once you've burned the stage down, there's no going back to being part of the act. You became the fire. You became the ending. And you smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was finally real. Let them watch you now. Let them study your silence, your moves, your smile. Let them try to copy your strength without understanding the cost. They'll never get it, because they didn't live it. They didn't earn it. They didn't walk through hell and come back untouched. But you did, and that makes you untouchable. And now, every time someone tells a lie, every time someone builds an image out of fiction, every time someone tries to silence the truth, they'll remember what happened when they tried that with you. They'll remember how you smiled, stepped forward, and without a word, tore it all down. You didn't need an army. You didn't need a stage. You didn't need anyone's permission. You became the reckoning. And in that moment, when the truth lit the sky on fire and their world came crashing down, you didn't flinch. You smiled. Because they asked for the truth, and you gave it to them, unfiltered, unforgiving, unstoppable. And now, you move different, not with arrogance, not with noise, but with the kind of quiet that terrifies the ones who remember who you are and what you did. Because the ones who were in the room when you finally stood up, they know what it cost you to stay silent for so long. They know how many times you held your tongue, bit your lip, forced a smile just to keep the peace in a war you never asked for. And when you finally let go, when you chose to stop protecting the lie, they felt it. Every single one of them. You didn't raise your voice. You raised the standard. And suddenly, their little games weren't fun anymore. Suddenly, their image wasn't enough. Because you exposed them. You put a flashlight in the cracks. And when the truth came pouring in, they couldn't hold it back with filters and captions and carefully worded statements. Because you weren't fighting for attention. You were fighting for truth. And truth, real, cold, raw truth, doesn't beg to be believed. It simply stands and lets the world see. That's what you did. You let them be seen, stripped bare of all the filters, the smoke, the costume. And what was underneath? Nothing. Just dust and ego. And maybe the ghost of a conscience that hadn't been used in years. That's why they can't stand you. Because even now, months, years, lifetimes later, your silence is louder than their screams. You walk by, and they remember. They remember how you never needed revenge. You just needed one moment, one window to show the world who they really were. And when that moment came, you didn't hesitate. You smiled, and you ripped their image to shreds like paper in the wind. Not out of hate, not out of spite, but because some lies are so big, so dangerous, they deserve to burn. And now, you're untouchable. You're the name they whisper behind closed doors, the one they say, be careful with in quiet conversations. Because you don't bluff, you don't warn, you just act. And when you move, you end stories. Welcome back, Alpha audience. You've done it. You've dominated the game. You've overcome every obstacle, shattered every barrier, and silenced every voice that dared to doubt you. You've reached the peak, where the air is thin, and every step you take carries the weight of your blood, sweat, and relentless ambition. You were born for this moment, and now the world sees you. But listen closely, because the game is shifting. The tides are turning, and those who once stood in your shadow, who used to watch from the sidelines as you carved your path to greatness, are beginning to feel the pressure. They're losing grip. You've shown them what power looks like. You've shown them what it takes to rise above the noise, to stand tall when everyone else buckles under the weight of their own mediocrity. You didn't just win the game. You rewrote the rules. You flipped the script. Now, as you watch them scramble to keep up, there's a quiet satisfaction in knowing they'll never catch you. They're slipping. And it's not just because you're better. It's because you're the one who understands the true cost of success. For too long, they lived in their comfort zones, wrapped in the illusion that their positions were secure. They laughed at you when you started. They mocked your ambitions, belittled your goals, and made you feel small when you dared to dream big. They told you that your hunger was a weakness, that your drive would burn you out. But now, as they watch you continue to rise, those same voices are turning into whispers of fear and resentment. They know what's coming. They know that the space you've claimed at the top is no longer just yours by right, it's yours by force, and they can feel it slipping away from them. They thought they could play the game forever. They thought they could coast by on their past victories, on their positions of power, on the false security that comes from believing they've already reached the peak. But the peak is a dangerous place. There's no room for complacency at the top. There's no room for resting on your laurels, because the moment you stop moving, the moment you stop pushing forward, someone else will take your place. And that's exactly what's happening now. You didn't just step into the game with a plan. You stepped in with a vision. You didn't just play the game for the sake of winning. You played to dominate. And now, they're watching as you destroy everything they thought they knew about success. They are realizing that their time has passed. They thought they were untouchable, but now they're scrambling to hold on. They're losing their grip, one mistake at a time, one moment of hesitation at a time. They've become complacent, and complacency is the silent killer of those who dare to think they've won the game. But you're different. You've never been complacent. You've never allowed yourself to fall into the trap of comfort. You've never fooled yourself into thinking that you could rest on your past accomplishments. You know the truth. Success is not a destination. It's a war, a battle that never ends. And you've never stopped fighting. You've never stopped moving forward, even when the world told you to slow down, even when they tried to drag you back down to their level. Now, you stand at the apex. And as you watch them struggle, as you watch them desperately try to claw their way back to where they once were, you understand something they'll never fully grasp. The game isn't about how hard you work when you're in the spotlight. It's about how relentless you are when the spotlight moves to someone else. It's about how you fight when no one is watching, when no one is cheering for you, when the odds seem impossible. They had their time. They had their moment to shine. They had the chance to build their empire, to carve their name into history. But they couldn't handle the weight of it. They couldn't carry the responsibility of greatness. And now, they're crumbling under the pressure. They're losing their grip, piece by piece, and they're too afraid to admit it. You, on the other hand, you never let go. You knew from the beginning that this was more than just about winning. This was about building something that would last long after the applause fades. This was about creating something that no one could ever take from you. And now, as they falter and stumble, as they realize that their hold on the game is slipping away, you stand unshaken, a symbol of everything they failed to achieve. The darkness of their failure is closing in on them. They're grasping at the remnants of their former success, trying to hold on to whatever they can before it slips completely out of reach. But it's too late. The game has already changed. You've already won. And now, all that's left is for you to watch as they desperately try to hold on to something that's already gone. It's a painful sight, isn't it? To watch them fall, to watch them crumble under the weight of their own arrogance, their own complacency. They were once the kings of the game, the ones who dictated the rules, who controlled the flow of the battle. But now, they're nothing more than shadows, ghosts of their former selves, clinging to the past like a drowning man clinging to a broken piece of wood. And you're the storm. You're the one who swept through the game like a force of nature, unstoppable, unrelenting, and always pushing forward. You're the one who understood that power isn't given, it's taken, it's earned. You fought for it, you bled for it. And now, as you stand at the top, they can only look up and wonder what it would have been like if they hadn't underestimated you. But let them wonder. Let them waste their time in regret, in confusion, in fear. Because you're not looking back. You're not waiting for anyone to catch up. You're not interested in their apologies or their excuses. You're focused on the future, on the next challenge, on the next battle that awaits. You've already proven that you can rise above them. You've already proven that you are stronger, faster, smarter, and more relentless than they could ever dream of being. So now, as you watch them lose their grip, as you see them falter and fall, remember this: they had their shot. They had their moment, but they didn't deserve it. They didn't earn it the way you did. And now, it's your time. They'll never be able to catch up because they don't have the hunger you do. They don't have the fire that burns inside you. You dominate the game, and now they're losing their grip. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. This is your moment. This is your time to shine. This is your time to take what's yours, to claim the throne that you fought so hard for. They had their time in the sun, but now it's your turn. And when they look up, when they realize what they've lost, all they'll see is you, standing tall, unwavering, and untouchable. They thought they could hold on forever, but they never understood that the grip you have on the game is not just about strength, it's about vision. It's about unyielding determination, and that's something they'll never understand. Because while they were content to sit back and relax, you were already moving forward, already planning your next move, already preparing for the battle that would leave them in the dust. So stand tall, Alpha. The game is yours. And now, they can only watch as you continue to rise. You've proven everything they said was impossible. You've shattered the boundaries they placed in front of you. And now, as you stand at the peak, you can feel the cold wind sweeping past, the chill of isolation that comes with being the one who outlasts everyone else. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. You never did. What you needed was your own conviction, and that's what kept you going when everyone else gave up. They only thought they knew what it took to reach the top, but now they understand that it's not enough to be gifted. It's not enough to rely on luck or fleeting moments of brilliance. You were never afraid of the grind, the relentless struggle, the pain that comes with pushing beyond what you thought was possible. When the world tried to pull you down, you just pushed back harder. When they tried to knock you off your path, you stepped over the debris and kept moving. And as you look back, as you witness their struggle to maintain their relevance, you realize one thing: they didn't have the resilience. They didn't have the strength to withstand the storm. And now, they are fading into the background, while you continue to blaze forward, unstoppable, untouchable. They can't keep up. They never could. They thought they were playing the same game, but they weren't. They were still stuck in the past, holding on to outdated ideas, relying on strategies that had worked once, but are now obsolete. They believed that staying the same, resting on their past achievements, would keep them at the top. But they were wrong. They didn't adapt. They didn't grow. And now, as you surge ahead, you see the cracks starting to show, the signs of failure that they can't ignore anymore. This is your edge, the thing they'll never understand, the ability to evolve, to stay hungry, to look beyond the present and into the future. They thought their old ways would keep them secure. They thought they could ride the wave of their former glory, and for a while, they did. But the world doesn't stay still, does it? The world is always changing, always shifting, always moving forward. And if you're not constantly adapting, you'll be left behind. And that's exactly what's happening now. They're stuck in yesterday, trying to hold on to something that doesn't exist anymore. Their grip is weakening, their resolve crumbling under the weight of their own hubris. They didn't see you coming. They didn't understand that you were different. You were never going to be content with just surviving in the game. You were going to dominate it, and in doing so, you've left them in the dust. You're not just ahead, you're miles ahead, and they can't catch up. The space between you and them is growing, and there's nothing they can do to bridge that gap. Their old tricks, their outdated methods, their once trusted strategies, none of it works anymore. They've already reached their limit. They've hit their ceiling. But you've only just begun. You've only just started to tap into your full potential, and they can feel it. They can sense that they've been left behind. They can feel their grip on the game slipping, slowly but surely, as you continue to rise. Every step you take feels like another blow to their egos. They thought they could maintain control, that they could keep their place at the top by relying on the status quo, on past victories, on their established reputations. But none of that matters now. All that matters is the present moment, and you've already surpassed them. You've already moved on to the next challenge, the next victory, the next level. And they're still stuck in the past, clinging to memories of a time when they were relevant, when they were in charge. But that time is gone. The game has changed, and they're being left behind. It's a painful reality, one that they're struggling to accept, but it's the truth. The truth they tried to ignore when they saw you rising, when they saw you carving out your space in the world, taking what was yours without hesitation. They tried to act like they didn't see it. They tried to convince themselves that you were just another fleeting competitor, someone who would fade away. But now, as they watch you continue to surge ahead, they realize how wrong they were, and it's too late. The grip they once had on the game is gone. Do you feel it? That sense of power, the feeling of unstoppable momentum. That's the feeling of dominance. That's the feeling of knowing that you've reached a level that no one else can touch. You've surpassed them all. You've done what they thought was impossible. And now, the tables have turned. They're the ones scrambling, the ones trying to hold on to their relevance, the ones who are losing their grip on everything they once took for granted. But they don't have your mindset. They don't have the same drive, the same hunger that's pushing you forward. They don't have the discipline to keep evolving, to keep growing. They thought they could rest on their laurels, that they could coast on past victories. But now, as you continue to rise, they're left clinging to the remnants of a past that doesn't matter anymore. And you're not slowing down. You're not looking back. You're not interested in their struggles, their pain, their regret. They had their chance, and they blew it. Now, it's your time. Now, it's your moment. And every step you take is a reminder of just how much further ahead you are than they could ever hope to be. The game belongs to you now. You're in control. You've proven that. And as you continue to climb, as you continue to rise above them, you'll leave them with nothing but the bitter taste of defeat, the stinging realization that they've lost. They had their chance to keep up with you, to rise with you, but they couldn't handle it. And now, all that's left for them is the struggle to maintain their grip on something that's already slipping away. They will never catch you. They will never understand the fire that burns inside you, the relentless drive that pushes you to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep striving for more. And as they fade into obscurity, as they watch you continue to dominate the game, remember this: they thought they could control the outcome. They thought they could hold on to their positions, but they were too blinded by their own arrogance to see that the game was already over for them. Now, as you stand at the peak, looking down at the chaos they've created, you'll understand one thing: they were never in the game to begin with. They were never in the fight. They were just passengers along for the ride. You, on the other hand, were the driver. And now, they're watching as you leave them behind in the dust, powerless to stop you, unable to even keep up. Keep moving forward. Keep dominating the game, because as they lose their grip, as they crumble under the weight of their own failure, you will continue to rise. You are unstoppable. You are untouchable, and they will never, ever catch you. The truth is undeniable. The gap between you and them grows wider with every breath you take, every move you make, every decision you execute. What you've built, what you've achieved, is something they will never understand, because they didn't have the courage to walk the path you did. They took shortcuts. They took the easy route. They relied on others to carry them, to lift them, to make their moves for them. But you didn't wait for anyone. You carved your own destiny. You didn't care about the easy road. You chose the one that would test your will, your strength, your resilience. And now, look where you stand. You are not like them. You are not weak, and you never have been. From the very beginning, you've known that greatness does not come from resting in the comfort of others' expectations. You understood that success requires the willingness to sacrifice everything. While they were complacent in their positions of power, thinking they could keep what was theirs by right, you worked, you fought, you bled for every inch of ground you claimed. And now, you stand tall. You stand untouchable. You stand as a force they cannot fight, cannot deny, and certainly cannot outrun. They're losing their grip on everything they've worked for. Every step they take now is one filled with desperation. They're scrambling, trying to hold on to power, trying to hold on to relevance, trying to hold on to the illusion that they matter. But the truth is, they don't. They had their time, but they never had the heart to maintain it. They lacked the vision, the hunger, the fire that you have inside of you. They let their positions blind them, let their victories lull them into a false sense of security. And now, As they watch you climb higher and higher, they're realizing that they're just a footnote in your story, a mere afterthought. But you're rewriting the rules of the game. You've taken everything they thought they knew and turned it on its head. While they were too focused on preserving what they had, too afraid to take risks, you were already moving toward the next horizon, the next challenge, the next evolution of your power. The game isn't static, it's fluid, it's always changing, always shifting, and if you aren't moving forward with it, you're being left behind. And that's where they are now, being left behind, trapped in the past, while you continue to ascend. They've reached the end of their journey. They're out of ideas, they're out of energy, they're out of time. You've already passed them, and now they can only watch as you surge forward into the unknown, a place they'll never have the courage to follow. You have what they never had, the ability to adapt, to change, to evolve. You knew that there was no end to the game. You knew that no victory, no title, no moment of success was the final stop on this journey. It's a battle that never ends, and you've always been ready for the next fight. As they look at their fading relevance, they may try to claim that their time isn't over, that they can bounce back, that they can catch up. But deep down, they know they can't. They don't have the hunger anymore. They don't have the fire. And that's why they will never, ever catch you. You've built something they can't touch, a momentum that cannot be stopped. You've become a living, breathing force of nature that they will never be able to control. The more they try to fight against it, the further they will fall into irrelevance. And what's even more powerful, you don't need to watch them fail. You don't need to savor their pain. The satisfaction doesn't come from watching them stumble. It comes from knowing that you did what they couldn't. You took everything they threw at you, and you turned it into your own weapon. They tried to break you, tried to push you down, tried to crush your spirit. But you didn't break. You didn't falter. You didn't give in. You grew stronger. You evolved. And now, as they fall apart, you stand taller than ever, more powerful than ever, more unstoppable than ever. They were never willing to do what it took to remain at the top. They thought that being at the top was about maintaining control. But the top isn't a place of comfort. The top is where you have to keep moving, keep pushing, keep evolving. The top is where the stakes are the highest. And those who forget that, those who rest on their laurels, eventually fall. And that's what happened to them. They were too content to be comfortable in their positions. They thought they could just stay there, untouched, untouchable. But the world moves on, and so does success. And now, they're paying the price for their arrogance. You see, the real power comes not from holding on to what you've earned, but from the ability to keep earning, to keep growing, to keep becoming. And that's what sets you apart. You are a force that is constantly moving forward, a machine that doesn't stop, doesn't slow down. They are left in your wake, struggling to understand how you keep climbing, how you keep achieving, how you keep growing stronger with every passing day. But they can't see what you've built. They can't understand the foundation beneath your success. All they see is the result, the outcome, the victory. But they'll never know what it took to get here. They'll never know the cost of the battle. And as they flounder, as they try to hold on to their last shred of power, you will continue to rise. You will continue to push forward. And they will continue to fall. You've shown them what true power looks like. You've shown them what it means to never give up, to never stop fighting, to never stop pushing. You've proven that success isn't just about talent, isn't just about luck. It's about relentless work, about vision, about the ability to withstand the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. And that's why they will never catch you. Because they didn't have the fortitude to endure. They didn't have the drive to keep pushing when the world told them to stop. And now, the game belongs to you. They can try to regain their position, try to rise up again, but the truth is, they'll never reach your level. The bar has been set too high. The gap is too wide. And no matter how hard they try, no matter how desperately they cling to their fading relevance, they'll never be able to bridge the distance between you and them. They are losing their grip. And the harder they try to hold on, the further they will fall. You don't need them. You don't need their approval. You don't need their recognition. You've already proven everything you needed to prove. And as you continue to rise, they will continue to fall. The game is yours. The power is yours. And they will never, ever catch you. Every day, you move closer to your next victory. Every step you take brings you that much further away from their grasp. They can try to claw their way back, but the truth is, they've already lost. The game is over for them, but for you, it's only just beginning. You are unstoppable. You are untouchable. And they are fading into the past, a forgotten memory in the wake of your success. And as they watch you rise, as they watch you claim everything they thought was theirs, remember this: they can never catch you, because you are destined for something greater. You are a force that will never be stopped, and they will never, ever catch you. In the end, remember this: you are not just playing the game, you are defining it. You have proven that greatness comes not from resting on past victories, but from relentless forward motion, from constant evolution. While they falter, you rise. While they struggle to hold on to what they once had, you continue to dominate, to grow, to become more. They will never catch you, because you are always one step ahead, always adapting, always moving forward. And as they fade into the background, you remain untouchable, unstoppable, a force they can only watch as you continue to rise. The game belongs to you now. Keep claiming it.